account. Hopefully it'll work.
All right, we are live. What's up, everybody? Sensei here. Welcome to the show and welcome to another video. And we have on the show tonight Shira, aka Speedykitkat. Thank you so much coming out of Toronto, Canada. And I'm excited. I'm excited that you're on. I follow you on IG, so I know your story a little bit, although we haven't met personally. So just give a quick introduction to everybody watching. I think everyone's gonna be excited to find out what you do, who you are, where you're from. So welcome.
All right. Well, hello. So my name is Shira. Yes. I also go by Speedykitkat. So some of you might know me as that. Um, Hi. Yeah. Anyways, so I started. Sorry, I've got a cat down here. Let me just. Okay.
Kitty cat.
Anyways, I started riding on a scooter in about 2021, just like during the pandemic, like everybody else was kind of just bored and wanted to do stuff. So I convinced my best friend to get a scooter with me. Um, and so we both got 9 bots, and it was really good. But then we started doing group rides with people, and we started getting a little bit faster. And I actually injured my wrist. Sorry,
Aw.
Tigger, you got me. Thank you. Okay, sorry, cat. Um, so I injured my wrist. Okay, he's coming back. Anyways, I injured my wrist in September of 2021. And so my natural progression was just like, okay, so I need to do something. So I decided to get an EUC or get into EUC first because
Okay.
a friend in the community, he actually was lending out his 14D to people who wanted
Oh,
to
okay.
learn. So then I borrowed that for a few weeks. I cut out on it after a few weeks. Um, I was trying to keep up with the guys, and I couldn't because I was on a 14D.
Right, right.
And then cut out going about 30 kilometers an hour. So that's about
Yeah, about
18.6
18.
miles an hour,
Yeah.
about there. Yeah.
Yep.
And so that happened. And then I injured my wrist even more. And so I'm like, you know what? That was fun. I'm going to get a faster wheel so that won't happen again. Because I
Right.
heard that like you need the overhead.
You do.
So then I bought my first wheel about May of 2022. And that
And
was
what
the
wheel was that?
18XL King Song.
That's okay. That's a solid
It's
wheel.
it's it's really good, and honestly,
I,
I'm
I
kinda sad I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, I put that with I always like I have a list of legendary wheels, and I say the
Mm,
18XL is one of them. The Nicola is another one. Though to
yes.
me,
Yeah.
they're just solid wheels where you can beat the snot out of them things, and they just keep going. They just keep
Mhm.
going. Another thing I want to do, I want to thank everybody that's come on the stream. Thank you so much. If you have not, I will drop a link in the description later. I'll see if I can do it in a couple minutes. Follow her on IG. I'm telling you, Speedy, she put some great stuff up there. And we're going to try, again, we're going to wing this a little bit. I'm going to try to answer questions. Again, I thank everyone for coming in. This is going to be awesome. And I'm sorry for interrupting you. But so you started out on a 14D. You were on a
Then I
scooter
moved up
first,
to an
went to the
18XL.
14D.
Yeah.
Now, what wheel are you rocking on right now?
I've been on the Sherman for about a year now. It's the OG, the V3 version of it,
Right,
and
right, right.
it's wonderful. And everyone keeps telling me to upgrade to suspension,
Me
especially after
too.
my accident. So that's been a thing, and I have no idea what I wanna get next. Absolutely no idea.
I'm in the same boat that you're in now. I'm on an OG Sherman with the thinner
Mm.
rim. I upped the rim to the V3 rim, but the wheel feels so good. That's what I keep telling. Why don't you get? I'm like the Sherman feels
Yeah.
so effing good. It's just like I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to get rid of it. It just feels so nice. So I think right now for me, I don't know how you feel about it. The prices of some of the wheels is just insane. Like I was looking at the new links coming. I'm like, hey, that looks good. And then I looked at the price. It was like $4,199. I'm like, good golly, man, that's just pushing it. I think that's just a little
I
bit too
agree a little
high.
bit.
Maybe one of the budget friendly sites like EUC Underground or EUCdeals.com or Next Gen Mobility, maybe their prices will be better. But trying to get that off a dealer at that price is just out of my range. Not that I can't afford it, I just refuse to pay that much.
Yeah, I definitely get that, and to be honest, I tend to go to most of my wheels used, so I'll just see
Yeah,
who's going in off in the market, and we have, like, a whole buy, sell, trade kinda chat in the Telegram, and we keep
nice.
track of that. So it's also nice to help, like, support the community, so
Right, right. I my Sherman, I got it used.
mm,
The deal that I got was the deal of the freaking century. Again, CJ, if you see this, thank you so much. I could not ask for a better deal, honestly. The only thing would have been better if he'd have delivered it himself, because CJ's a cool dude. But he worked out a great deal with me, and I've had a smile on my face ever since I got the Sherman. Because I always wanted a Sherman, always wanted one. So
same.
yeah, can't go wrong with that. Now, did you ever think about upgrading to the Max, or you're just thinking about jumping straight into like the Sherman S or something else?
So I kind of wanted to get the Sherman S. Before my
Mhm.
accident, I did have a chance to try the Sherman S and the EX30.
Right.
Both because I live uptown. I don't live close to downtown. I'm about like an hour-ish away. So I
Oh,
need the range in order to get down and then in order to get up. And I'd like to be able to ride around downtown as well without having to charge. So I need the
gotcha.
range, which is why I
Yeah,
was
you
I was looking
definitely need.
towards those kind of like big boy kind of wheels, I guess.
So you're
Um,
thinking like
and
EX30
yes,
type thing.
EX30 or Shimano's. That was my goal beforehand.
Mhm.
Now, honestly, I don't know. Just because I've gotten so used to my Sherman again, I have to build myself back up, especially the muscle memory,
Right.
and the strength. So,
Definitely need the strength. Now, well, I don't
yes,
even think the patent would give you that, wouldn't give you enough range. If you have an
it wouldn't.
hour, you said hour and no, it's not going to give you enough. You definitely
No.
need, yeah,
I would have to
Sherman
fast
Esther.
charge. It wouldn't be that
Okay.
bad, but if I fast charged it, it would be tolerable, I guess,
Okay.
but it's not
What's
ideal.
your what's your cruising speed when you're riding normally?
So I always like to look at things as pre-accident and post-accident because that's kind of
Okay.
just my life is divided now.
Gotcha.
But would say before it was probably around like 50 to 60 kilometers an hour was like
Jeez.
cruising.
Yeah, you're moving.
Now it's closer like 40, 50, 40 to 60 is kind of like my range.
Okay.
Like,
That's still good speed though.
yeah,
That's
it's
still good
it's it's
speed.
good, but it's yeah.
It's it gives you enough time if somebody yanks out in front of you or
E
something just pops
exactly,
up,
yeah.
you can slow down and you can react, you know.
Mhm.
Now, you kind of touched on your accident. Do you want to clue us in on everything that happened with that?
So I was heading downtown for ERL, which is our electric racing league, downtown Toronto. So we hold that at Ontario Place, or at least we did. So we would do this weekly where we would just go set up cones and kind of like ride around, test our skills, whatever. It was
Mhm.
really fun. But I was on my way downtown. It was about like 5:30, 6 o'clock, so peak rush hour. And I was probably going about like 60, something around those. So about 38 miles an hour, I think is the translation.
Yeah, 30, 37,
And
38.
then I carved out of the way of a pothole or manhole cover, and then I hit it right on the lip. So I hit it on the lip, and then I was knocked to my ass, and then I was kind of like my legs were like splayed. I was still
Mhm.
on the wheel, and the wheel was still balancing, mind you. So it was just like, what do I do in that split second? I couldn't find the pedals. So I
Aw,
wobbled, and then I fell, slid on my knees, my wrists surprisingly didn't hit the ground at all. So I'm really grateful because I would have probably broken both my wrists if I did. And
wow.
I was wearing full gear, mind you, except for I was wearing Converse. So my feet were not quite protected. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I slammed my foot into the ground and I dragged it behind me, kind of like the skateboarders do.
Mhm.
Um, and then I had the ambulance called, and then later that night they told me I had 8 fractures, in my foot all across, and
Wow.
then I completely tore all of the soft tissue, so it's called a Lisfranc,
Mm.
if you wanna do some research at some point. But yeah, a Lisfranc fracture, and then I had to go undergo surgery, like, a week later,
Aw.
and that was, I now have 5 plates and 10 screws in my foot, so if you can see it's on my Instagram, so if you wanna actually, like, look, it's in my injury section, but, it looks like I have a bear trap like in my foot on the top.
Wow.
It's yeah, it's yeah. It's
That's no joke, man, and I
fun.
keep trying to tell people like, I used to ride in Converse too, until I broke my
Mhm.
ankle. That's what I fractured my ankle with my Converse on, so I don't ride with Converse. I love the way you can feel the pedals in the Converse, but if something happens, you have 0
Mhm.
protection. That thing, yeah, it's something bad's gonna happen if your feet touch the ground. So,
You learn it the hard way though, so or
yeah,
y
yeah,
yeah,
we learned, and, so, of course, like you said, now you have it affected your riding, you
it
know?
did,
Yeah.
100%. I look back at footage from before, and I look back at footage from now. I'm so much more cautious. I'm slower overall, so I have a hard time keeping up with the other people that I'm riding with.
Mhm.
I'm very hesitant now as well, so it's just it's altered my entire, I guess, psychology in terms of riding. I still enjoy it, and I still 100%
Right.
like I'll get back up there. It's just for now. It's until I fully feel 100%, I guess, and we'll see.
No,
I
I
think
mean,
next
that's good. You ride at your own pace, and you don't let
year.
other people's, I guess, vibe sort of throw you off what you're doing. I always say you ride within your means, and you see so many videos of riders that get with a group, and it's just you get hyped up, and all of a sudden, man, riders start going down, and you have to know what you're capable of and incapable of. Not saying that you can't ride,
Exactly.
but you have to feel your mind has to be in it. And I know with me, I know I'm riding sometimes, and after I went down, and me personally, I almost didn't make it. That's what I don't think people knew how bad it was with me. I'm just the type of person that's to keep up and keep going. I almost died. I should have never, like, they were coming to scoop my body up off the ground. I was on the hood of this SUV. I got whacked at about 35, 40 miles an hour, like almost head on. It was horrible. It was horrible. But yeah, it does. It does play with you, but you're back riding. So,
That's what matters.
that's a
Exactly.
good thing. Just take your time. Okay, so what is Speedy Kit Kat's dream wheel? If you had a chance to make your own wheel, what would it be? I'm talking motor, weight, what type of suspension, what
Hmm.
kind of trimmings and goodies would you put on a wheel if you had a chance to sit down? And what company? And what company would you go with? Emotion, Pagode, you name it, Librachem. What company would you
Hmm.
go with?
Alright, so I'm a sucker for Librachem because,
Okay,
just their suspension is so smooth, and as a smaller, I guess, rider, because I 'cause I'm 5'2" and I am 120 pounds at the moment, and it's just hard for me to like, the EX30, it was comfortable, but it was a beast. It was very hard to manage, and
I
I'm
watched
sure with
you with that
given
in a
time,
video with the
I could
EX30,
do
I
it.
think too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I demoed the one with Ride One, or sorry, with
Yes,
Mini Wheel,
I saw
with
that.
Mini yeah. But yeah, so I've had my time on it, but obviously not that much time, but I've had enough
Okay,
time to be able to, I think, gain an opinion on it, and I personally like the Sherman S over the EX30.
okay,
I found that even though they were similar in weight, the distribution was not bad. It was not bad, much more comfortable with the Sherman S. But in terms of dream wheel, if I could do anything, I don't know, I'd probably like some sort of like 18-inch range wheel, like a King Song mix of a King Song Sherman kind of thing. So something that's
gotcha.
not too heavy and comfortable and is much more comfortable to ride. Because I find that the master is too top heavy for me. So I don't really like how high up I feel.
Gotcha.
And I feel like I'm gonna bang my head onto a bunch of different things like trees and cement, like like parking garages and stuff like that. I don't know. So I don't really like the Master. I loved the T4. So something like in between the Master and the T4, but with like Librachem's kind of feel, if that makes
Got
any sense.
it
I don't
does.
know.
They actually have a T4 Pro coming out now. I don't know what the stats and everything are to kind of keeping that hidden. They have a T4 Pro coming out, so we'll see what that's gonna be.
Yeah, fair. I don't really keep up on top of all the new things because there's just so many things coming out,
Too
and
many.
it's just I if I try to pay attention to it, I think my brain will break. So
I think
I'm not
mine's
really
broken already. I'm trying
yeah.
to Trying to keep up
It's
with all
really
that stuff. It's crazy. So I get it.
yeah,
Yeah, that's I think hearing you say that is great because everyone always talks about you got to get a big wheel. Yeah, big boy wheel. I'm like, everyone doesn't like these big wheels. It's not fit for everybody. So it's good to see that they are coming down. They have, the S19, they have the S16. Again, the batteries aren't the biggest, 1500 watt hour, 1800 watt hour. But if they could find something between 2700 watt hour, 300 watt hour, I'm sorry, 3000 watt hour, and keep the weight down with suspension, I think that, and the price, I think they would get more people. But these
it
heavy
does
wheels
catch
aren't
it
for everybody.
because my dream, like, ideally, I could have something 3 to like, I want basically what I have now, but with suspension. So that's
Right.
why I keep thinking it's like, I need the Sherman range, I need it. I can't sacrifice weight for it. Like,
Hmm.
if I have to have the weight in, then so be it. That's where I'm at.
Right.
I'll adapt myself to the wheel that I have to.
Hmm.
So,
And
because I
that
that's why
wheel would be great for you too, though. The Sherman S. I mean,
it
you
would
don't weigh a lot, so that wheel's still going to move enough torque, enough range,
mm,
and you'll get a ton of range out of that thing for you. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine with that. All right, let's take a quick little breather here. We are going to jump into the comment section, and I'm way behind. I apologize, everybody. Again, thank you so much for coming. This was we kind of spurred a moment, but sometimes the best things happen when they're supposed to. So definitely want to thank Electric Psycho coming in, Spartacus. What's going on, Mr. Coquette Robinson? Electric Psycho said the 14D is a great wheel. Yeah,
Mhm,
when rode accordingly. Yeah, it is. It's a great. I always say those are great commuter wheels. Something you can throw on a bus, a
yeah.
train, and that's something that I need. It's something that I can stick on a bus without taking up a bunch of room. So my next wheel can't be too big. Uh what? 28,000. Now Electric Cycle, he got 28,000 kilometers on his 16X. That's crazy. Wow. Wow. OG, I see OG Sherman won the racing in Australia last week. Look at that. Okay. What's up, Francis? Who else we got? We got E Rider. Thank you for coming. Toronto E Riders in the house. Thank you so much. Wilson, what's happening, brother? Uh, let's see what else we got in here. If you guys have any questions, you can drop some questions too for Speedy Cat. Let's see. Stan, what's happening, bro? And this is a good question too. I think we can both answer this one. And Stan says, or asks, why do we still ride after such injuries? Are we crazy?
Uh,
I'll let you go in and then I'll come back over the top and give my answer. Why do we still ride after getting injured?
you know, I thought a lot about that one after my injury. Um, and I don't know, I just after discovering writing back in 2021, I gained a sense of confidence that I hadn't really had, I guess, before.
Mm-hmm.
It allowed me to I have bad anxiety, so, like, I didn't leave the house before unless I had to. So I would leave it to go to school, I would leave it to go to work, and then I would come home and then just chill. I played a lot of video games. So, anyways, but yeah, so my bad anxiety combined with writing, though, it kind of just it made it so I felt more comfortable to go out. I felt safer. I felt like I could take care of myself, that if anything were to happen out there, then I could just ride away real fast. No one can catch
Right,
me.
right.
So I feel like this connection to writing, it was just this safety kind of, I don't know, it created this, I guess, security blanket is a good way to put it. And it allowed me to have that confidence. And so I needed that after my injury. Like, if I fell
Mhm.
off the ball, I don't think I'd be able to get back on it, I guess, is what I'm saying. So I feel
Gotcha.
like writing has helped me to really become the person that I am today, in a
Uh,
sense.
right.
So I just I need it. It's in my soul at this point.
I mean, that's a great answer. And the thing is, if you look within the EUC community as a whole, you hear so many people say how riding their EUCs has just elevated their life, their self-confidence. I mean, just you hear it time and time again. For me, as far as after I got injured, I do a lot of stuff, snowboard, martial arts. I've done it all, and I've got injured in every darn thing. I've been knocked out, you know, wrecked on my actually I wrecked more on my snowboard than I have on my EUC. I've had some pretty bad
Oh my
crashes
gosh.
learning how to ride my snowboard. But out of all the activities that I've done, I don't think there's anything that has elevated me as far as excitement and just the adventure as riding an electric unicycle. Nothing out there. And I've done it a lot of different things from, I was a musician for years, playing up on stage, all that stuff. To me, there was nothing like riding an electric unicycle. It's just like freedom. That's what
Mhm.
that's what it feels like. And you try to explain that feeling to people, they look at you like, I would never. And I say, yeah, I was one of the people when I saw an electric unicycle for the first time. This was probably 2016, somewhere around in there, give or take a year. It was
Mhm.
on 8th Avenue in New York City, and I didn't know the rider at the time. I believe it was Grander Life, Nate, New York rider. I looked at that thing. I was like, I think it might have been a 9 bot. I was like, there's no way I would ever get on one of these things. And when the
Mhm.
pandemic hit, that's when I learned how to ride, and I've been riding ever since. So I totally understand what you're saying because it's just a completely different lifestyle that can think about it, brought you out of your shell. You know what I mean?
It
And you
did.
hear so many stories like that. And if we didn't have this EUC or we all start riding, I would have never met you. I wouldn't know who you are. You wouldn't know me. You wouldn't know a lot of the other
Mhm.
people. So it's a really great thing. It does come with some risk, but I mean, living life is a risk as it is
Yeah.
too. It is. You can get hurt doing anything. So we're glad that you are sticking with it. Yeah, but you hear that story all the time.
Mhm.
Let's well, okay, so what else do you do? We heard about the video games, but what else do you do outside riding an EUC?
Well, right now I guess I'll back up. Okay, so I went to school for psychology. I did my degree.
Hmm.
And then after that, I kind of decided that I wanted to get into teaching. So I did teachers college after that.
Okay,
And so right now I'm just working as a supply teacher. So I go in, I do the thing, I go out, and then I go home. That's it. It's very disconnected being a supply teacher, but it's honestly, you're still working with kids. It's still very fun,
right.
and I enjoy it. I work with kids, usually grade 6 and under, but they sometimes place me with grade 7s and grade 8s. And yeah, it's really fun.
Nice, nice. Do they know you ride?
Yes, I show up to
So,
school
so what's
in
the
my gear.
reaction when they find out that you ride?
Um, I get mostly positive reviews. I've
Good.
never really had any negative reviews, but people they give me some weird looks. But mostly all the other teachers are like, "Wow, that's really cool. That looks like fun." Or "Wow, you're saving gas. That's really cool." Or "Wow, I would never let myself do that or let my kid do that," or just other various things.
That was my
So
next
generally,
question.
yeah.
Has any of them like asked you to teach them how to ride?
No. No.
No? Okay. Okay.
Though I have kind of hinted to comments, that people will make. It's just like, "Oh, where do you get one of those things?" And then I'll give them the information. I'll be like, "Okay, check out Toronto E-Riders on Instagram. If you wanna buy a wheel, check out Ride One." And then there's other various places that they can go and check out for, like, news and information. But yeah, it's just I kind of just give them a little bit of information and then go on with my day because I could talk their ear off if they would let me, but I try not to. So
No, but I mean, it's good in a sense, though. You found
mm,
something that you're passionate about, and you know what? You want to spread the word. I mean, I could talk about it all day too. I think I get on people's nerves talking about it. And, oh, okay, whatever. But it's like, you don't understand, man. It's fun. No, it's crazy. No, it's not. You got to try it. That whole type of thing. Um, so what is the ride scene like? in Toronto? I know you guys got cold weather coming, and I know it gets cold as heck up there because it
Mhm.
gets cold down
Uh,
here. So what do you do
so
about the winter? You ride all winter, or you kind
there
of
are people
just?
who do parking lot stuff in the winter, so
Mhm.
it depends. Like, the people who don't really want to just actually go out and ride, they'll go and they'll chill in the parking lot. They'll kind of, like, get their jollies out there. But then there are people like what I did last year is I rode throughout the winter. As long as it was dry on the grounds or mostly
Right.
dry on the grounds, I was out there.
Yeah, I'm the
It just
same way.
involves
I'm the same.
severe dressing like you're about to go snowboarding or
It
skiing.
does. It
It's
does.
just it's a hassle and you feel like a bit constricted. But for the most part, there's a small handful of people who will still ride all throughout the winter.
Okay. Yeah, I ride pretty much throughout the winter. As long as it's
Mm,
not snow on the ground, I'm not riding in the snow, and there's
yeah.
not a lot of salt. And I say that
Yes.
because a lot of salt will f your equipment up bad if it gets in there. I tell people, yeah, if there's too much salt on the ground, I'm not riding. So we'll see. I think the winter's going to be bad down here this year, especially with all the moisture coming in. I'm
They
hoping it's
say that
not, but
every
it's
year. So I'm hopeful that that
right.
global warming is gonna do its thing just a little bit. So
Oh, okay, so here's a comment from Wilson. He says, "I like her already. Leaper Kim all the way." Okay, 'cause he's a Leaper Kim fan. Yeah, I like Leaper Kim. I really do. Like I said, that Sherman sitting in there right now, man. That wheel. I love that freaking wheel, and I like my Tesla too. I can't. People, why do you still ride a Tesla V2? Me and that wheel almost died together. That thing is not going anywhere. I rebuilt it, and I'm gonna ride it till it falls apart. So
yeah,
let's see. Yeah, Dell, that's crazy. But Goat already put out like 6 wheels or variations this week of different wheels, man.
wow.
That's insane. Now I'm gonna make a comment here. My only problem, I don't mind variety, but it's
Mm,
getting to the point where you buy a wheel and within a month it's already old news. You know what I mean? Who would ever think that the EX30 would come out and it's already basically an old wheel? You understand? It doesn't make any sense. And getting parts if you have to get stuff fixed, I don't know, man. What do
I
you? I
feel
mean, what do you think about them just pumping out a wheel every 2 weeks?
it's too many, and then it just makes it so it's hard to keep up emotionally, mentally, but also it's just every company they have to top each other. So it just I wonder if it leads to fast production potentially, and then there might be issues with that. I don't know enough about it though.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm rolling with
No,
this
no,
comment.
I know.
So Toronto E-Riders, don't tell anyone, but you're our favorite. You're someone's favorite out there. That's a good thing.
I feel like that's Karen,
Okay.
probably.
Hello, Karen. What else we got? I'm trying to figure out. Let's try to catch up to some of this. I apologize for being behind on the comments here. But the most important thing, we got Speedy Kit Kat on the show. I think hold on a second. Do you think you'll make it to the AMP games next year, or you're just gonna kind of just?
Probably.
I need to get
Probably.
out there. I need to get out there. Seth is doing great things. My
In terms
whole
of
event.
events, so
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna be going to AVS, in about a month. So I've
Oh,
already bought the
okay.
ticket and everything. Or
Okay.
race and ride, sorry, let me rephrase. I'm going to race and ride that is being hosted at AVS.
Okay.
So that'll be fun.
Will Brady, what's happening, bro? We got a lot. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. We got a nice turnout here. I'm trying to. Oh man, this is a good question here. Again, this is Electric Unicycle. What I just call him Dale. And to me, Dale, as far as riders go, if you don't know, you don't know. Dale is underrated. That dude can freaking ride. That dude can ride, man. He can freaking ride. So I love hearing his opinions and what he has to say. What he's saying here is they aren't supporting the dealers and they are bringing new wheels too often to be uh, yeah, to stock the parts. And that's the problem with producing all these wheels, it's going to get to a point where trying to find parts is
Yeah.
going to be impossible. And you do want to support the dealers. I'm all about supporting dealers, but at the same time, spending $4,000 for a wheel and you can save $1,000 on a wheel. I don't, like I said, if you have deep pockets, that's one thing. But if your pockets aren't so deep, people are going to start going to, looking for these deals. So there has to be, uh, a solution, or the
Mhm.
market's just going to run itself down into the ground. I don't want to see that. I mean, I do my best. I bought all my wheels pretty much from dealers. And then my Sherman, I got off the used market. So I do my best to kind of help out everybody, but it's going to get to a point where
Mhm.
I got to help out myself. So I think my next one, I might actually buy off one of the budget friendly sites, man, because like
Well,
I
you
said, I
gotta
don't know
put
if
you
I want to
first.
drop the money. What's that?
You have you have to put you first.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Um, we were going to start narrowing it down here. So if you have any advice for anybody wanting to get into I'm just going to just keep it not, I'm just going to say EUC community, what would be
Mm.
your advice? Learning how to ride, what type of wheel, what advice would you give them?
Definitely think about what you want and what you
Mm.
need from that wheel. So if you want it to be a range wheel, if you want it to be a speed wheel, trail wheel, then maybe you want a smaller wheel just for fucking around with. Excuse my language.
Nah,
Um,
let it run free. Go ahead. Go ahead. Say
um,
what you got to say.
but yeah, just like it depends. And then there's some people who say you should get one of everything instead of trying to combine it. So it depends. I always think what your needs are and how you want to ride and who you want to ride with. Because if you're going to be racing the streets and trying to constantly catch up to people, you're not going to have a fun time unless you want to do that.
Right.
But yeah, just think about like the type of riding that you want to do, and if you're even capable of having those type of reflexes if you want to do speedier riding.
Hmm.
Um, but I know some people who they ride bike lane the entire time. They don't really ride on the road, and they're still having fun. So
Right.
just like think about like where's your fun meter, I guess, at is a good way to
Perfect.
put it.
Perfect. Perfect advice. Now, what would be, and I'll give my story after you give yours. What is one of the best times that you've had on a wheel?
Um, I think the first time that I hit the "please decelerate" kind of, noise, um, so I
Right.
was riding downtown, I was with it was a goodbye ride for, Nick Brown. He was going back to the States, so we were riding around the city, it was really fun, and we were going up this kind of, I guess, this park area, and it was kind of like a loop kind of thing that like just leads through the trees and whatever, on the
Mhm.
street though. But we were going uphill, and I just remember hitting the please decelerate, and then I looked over at Brett E Rider A. He's just like, keep going, go, 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 and then I'm just like, I'm going as fast as I can up that hill, and it was just absolutely a
Awesome.
blast.
Good
So
stuff. Mine is like when I first got started, and I know he was on here watching the stream. My boy Cokeet Robinson, he was on a V10F and I was on my Tesla. And we had epic rides just on those two wheels. He used to watch my YouTube channel and he noticed one of the places that I was riding. And he came and he basically rode up on me, man. I had no idea who he was. And we've been friends ever since. That's probably one of the best highlight moments that I've had. I've met one of my best friends from EUC riding. But as
mm,
far as riding goes, like one of the craziest moments, I'll never forget this. There was the Hero demo in New York City. They had the Hero torque suspension, and I went there, and I was going to and I wasn't on my RS was did I have my I don't know my RS was actually back in Pittsburgh.
mm,
So all I had was my wife's she has a V10F. So I
okay.
used her wheel to go to, the demo. And they were heading back to headquarters and it was Ronan Ryder. He was on a Hero Torque, and then EUC Vibes was on a Sherman, and we're running through the streets of New York City. and I'm keeping up. I'm trying to keep up with these dudes on this V10F, and we're just slicing, dicing, lane splitting. And Bob's like, "How the hell are you keeping up with us on the V10F?" I'm like, "I don't know, dude. I'm surprised I didn't cut the wheel out. There's no way in the world I should be able to keep up with them with that." But that had to be one of, I think, probably the craziest times I've ever ridden in traffic, blazing through New York City on the V10F, trying to keep up with a Hero and a Sherman. But I found a way to do it. So that was good stuff. But overall, like, ride with my buddy Coquette, man. And we still ride to this day. We go out on some epic, epic rides. And that's another thing I tell people. You don't have to have the fastest wheel, the most expensive wheel. Find out, you get in where you fit in. You get that
Mhm,
wheel and you ride it like you hate it. You be safe, but you ride it like you hate it, and you have a good time doing
mhm.
it, you know. Yeah. So let me see what else you got in the comment section here. If there's anything else you would like to add to the stream, anything that we forgot, anything that you would, I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, yeah,
I think we could actually probably talk for about another 2. I know I could. Um,
always.
but we'll save the dime for another time. Definitely do another stream. And here's my boy Coquette right there. He said, "Yes, sir. Yeah." So if you ever come down to the New York area, let me know when you're coming
I'm
down.
planning on it. 100%
Please
I'm
let
planning
us
on
know.
it. I wanted to do it sometime around Christmas, this
Mhm.
year, ideally, depending on the weather and depending on,
Yeah.
how much money I have left over after going to California.
Oh,
So,
right. That's going to
we'll
take some
see.
bucks.
Yeah,
So, but if you do come, give us a heads up. Let us know.
will do.
And we'll, again, ride through New York, take you to some cool places in Jersey. And yeah, man. So if there's anything else you would like to add, again, I want to thank you so much for coming on the stream. Everyone, please go to her IG, give her a follow, give her a like. Fantastic rider. Again, and that's what I say to a lot of people. I watch a lot of content, a lot of YouTube videos. I'm always dipping and diving on IG and Facebook. Although I don't comment all the time, I like to know what's going on, you know, in the EUC community. That way, that's how I found out about you. I do follow you. If you can, I always watch. Great channel, great material,
Thank
and
you.
keep doing what you do. Don't go back into that shell. Come out of that shell. Keep go to the moon and back. Go to the moon and back.
Right.
Whether it's on your EUC or you're just rocking solo, just keep doing what you do. You're a phenomenal rider, phenomenal person. Again, we thank you for coming on. And any last words?
No, honestly, I'm good. Thank you for having me. It was nice.
All right, so here we go. Remember, everybody, you get on your wheel, you ride it like you hate it. You be safe out there. You ride it like you hate it. Goodbye, kitty cat. Kitty cat, thank you so much for coming on. Be safe out there, everybody. Hello. Good night.